Vaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata-sevayā. Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajeshatanaya Stadhama Vrindavanam. Ramya Kachitupasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Va Kalpita. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Pramanamamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhur Matamidam Tatra Dharana Para. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for taking out your most valuable time to read, study, hear Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam together. We are very, very blessed to get a chance in this human form of life to read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam together. Human life is very, very rare. What may come tomorrow, no one knows. We all saw in this tragic Ahmedabad incident. Anything can happen any moment. But all the scriptures explain that the real shelter, the real refuge, the real path to happiness in this world is one and only shelter of Lord Sri Krishna. And this is not why we are saying because we are International Society for Krishna Consciousness. This is the conclusion of all the Shastra, all the holy texts. This is the conclusion of all the scriptures, all the sages from time immemorial. And therefore, we also follow or try to follow that word of Krishna and his disciples, his parampara. So with that, we are reading Canto 10, Chapter 33 of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam entitled The Rasa Dance, and we are towards the end of this chapter where Shukdev Goswami has asked, Parikshit Maharaj has asked Shukdev Goswami about, for the welfare of all of us, that how these apparent activity of the Supreme Lord may appear very immoral or very ordinary. And then Shukdev Goswami answers that it may appear like that, but he is none other than Krishna, the Supreme Lord, who is above all the modes. So we have all covered all these points. So now we'll read text 36, which is very, very important, beautiful, and worth memorizing. Anugrihaya bhaktanam manusham dehamastitah bhajate tadrishi krida yashrutva tat paro bhavet. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When the Lord assumes a human-like body to show the mercy to His devotees, He engages in such pastimes as will attract those who hear about them to become dedicated to Him. Hare Krishna. Srila Jiva Goswami explains in this connection that when Lord Krishna descends to this world in His original two-handed form, out of kindness, He manifests that form in a way His devotees conditioned in human society can perceive and understand. Thus, here it is stated, Manusham Deham Asthitaha. He assumes a human-like body. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur glorifies the Lord's conjugal pastimes, stating that these romantic affairs have an inconceivable spiritual potency to attract the polluted heart of the conditioned souls. It is an undeniable fact that any pure or simple-hearted person who hears narrations of the lovely affairs of Krishna will be attracted to the lotus feet of the Lord and gradually become his devotee. Hare Krishna. This is an important verse, and if you like to memorize verses, this is a good one. Anugrihaya Bhaktana. Why does Krishna appear in the human-like form? To show mercy. Anugrihaya Bhaktanam. To show mercy to whom? To his devotees. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. To give pleasure to his devotees. Prahlad ahlad dadaine anugrihaya bhaktanam. To show mercy. Manusham, he takes human-like form. Deham, body. Astita, he accepts a human-like body. Bhajate tadrishi krida. He accepts or he enacts these pastimes. Krida also means pastimes or playful pastimes. Yashrutva tat paro bhavet. One who hears. Yashrutva shravanam tat paro bhavet. That person, he becomes dedicated to him. How do people become dedicated to something in this world? About a cricketer or about a footballer or soccer star, movie star. How do people become dedicated? By
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mata.
They follow their idols, Prabhuji. Like श्रेष्ठ का जो आचरण होता है उसको फॉलो करते हैं.
They try to follow them. Okay.
Yes.
Like a football star, they will go to football clubs, they'll play football, and they'll hear about him. Someone's fan, someone is a follower of a big billionaire or millionaire. They want to hear, oh, what was his childhood like? How was the struggle? How did he get there? What are his businesses? Right? So whoever is following, anyone who's following a person, they want to hear about. And by hearing about that person, they develop some kind of attraction. So everyone is following someone or the other, right? Now, if the same hearing propensity, the shrutva, shrutva tat paro bhave, when we engage our hearing propensity, our inclination to hear about Krishna, who comes in the human-like form to attract, to give pleasure to his devotees, he does different pastimes. That is the reason he is basically giving us a glimpse of the spiritual world. He's giving a trailer to the movie, Eternal Spiritual Home. He's coming, doing, so many pastimes, stealing butter, dancing with the gopis, getting angry, and playing with his calves, with his cowherd friends, etc., lifting Govardhan. Such beautiful pastimes, reciprocating with his devotees, so that all of us can become attracted. Krishna, that's the reason he does all these. And different people are attracted to different pastimes. Some people are attracted to Govardhan Leela, some people like the Damodar Leela more, some people like the Makhanchori Leela more, some people may like the Rasa Leela more, some people may like, Kurukshetra battlefield. He gives a lot of variety because devotees have variety, We all like variety. Variety is the mother of enjoyment, right? Like different spices add to flavors. Variety adds to flavor. So Krishna, by hearing Krishna consciousness, we become tat paraha, Narayana para sarve, na kutaschana bibidyati. So we have to become tat para or Krishna para or Narayana para. We become dedicated. Tat para means we are completely dedicated to him. And what is the formula? By Shravanam. Hearing what? Tadrishi Krida, his pastimes, especially the ones he does in the Manusha Deha, the two-handed form, which we are, in the whole 10th canto is about it. And why he does that? Anugrihaya Bhaktana, to attract, to show his devotees, to show mercy. Let's read this once more time, and Mataji, you can also read, or kids can read. Anugrihaya Bhaktanam Manusham Dehamastitah Bhajate Tadrishi Krida Ya Shrutva Tatparo Bhavet. Anyone on your side?
अनुग्रहाय भक्तानां मानुषं देहमास्थितः भजते तादृशीः क्रीडा यः श्रुत्वा तत्परो भवेत्.
Wonderful. Any pure devotee who hears about Krishna's pastimes will come attracted to the sweet lotus feet of the Lord and gradually become a loving servant of Krishna. If done with the right intent, whether any pastime, if we hear with the right consciousness, it will lead us to Krishna's lotus feet. If we hear it like mundane boy-girl affair, it will not have a very healthy impact. It will still help, but one will not get the full effect. Next 37. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. नासूयन् खलु कृष्णाय मोहितास्तस्य मायया मन्यमानाः स्वपर्श्वस्थान् स्वान् स्वान् दारन् व्रजौकसः. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the disciples and Prabhupada ki jai. The cowherd men, bewildered by Krishna's illusory potency, thought their wives had remained home at their sides. Thus, they did not harbor any jealous feelings against him. Purport: because the gopis loved Krishna exclusively, Yog Maya protected their relationship with the Lord at all times, even though they were married. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes from the Ujjvala Nilamani as follows: Maya kalpita tadrakstri shilanesha shilane anusuyabhi न जातु व्रजदेवीनां प्रतिबिह सा संगमः. The gopis' jealous husbands consorted not with their wives, but with doubles manufactured by Maya. Thus, these men never actually had any intimate contact with the divine ladies of Braja. The gopis are the internal energy of the Lord and can never belong to any other living being. Krishna arranged their apparent marriage to other men simply to create the excitement of Parakya Ras, the love between a married woman and her paramour. These activities are absolutely pure because they are the Lord's pastimes, and saintly persons, since time immemorial, have relished these supreme spiritual events. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So what did the cowherd men think?
So they were thinking that their wives are next to them. So body doubles, like movies में होता है, like that.
Double row.
डबल रूम के प्रभु जी, ऐसे ना स्टंट्स वगैरह होते हैं ना, बॉडी डबल्स होते हैं, जैसे कोई
Oh,
स्टंट सीन करना होता है किसी को, तो we think that the actor is doing it, but it's his body double. They are performing the stunts, but the way they kind of like look-alikes.
interesting.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know.
yeah. So something like that. The cowherd men thought that the gopis were besides them,
Hmm.
and but the gopis were protected by Yog Maya, and so it's very interesting that it's pointed out that the gopis were like those body doubles they had. So they are so pure, and they are the internal potency of Krishna himself, and that the pastimes are meant for Krishna's pleasure only. So that is what is pointed out. Hare Krishna, please add. Prabhuji.
Thank you. We see that this kind of theme, Krishna expands sometimes into two, sometimes the Yogamaya, like in the Brahma Vimohan Leela, Krishna expanded himself into his cowherd friends by his internal energy. Even Sita Devi, the one who was kidnapped by Ravana, was not actual Sita. So over there also we see like body doubles by Krishna's internal potency, because Ravana cannot touch the pure Sita. Similarly, as mentioned here, no one. The gopis are internal energy of the Lord and can never belong to any other living being. So no one can. So ultimately, they were the doubles. And Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is mentioning, when the real gopis returned to their individual homes from the Rasa dance, Yogamaya made the replica gopis disappear. Interesting. So these are the inside things which the acharyas like Jiva Goswami, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur are explaining here. We have two more verses left in this chapter. Anyone? 38.
You want me to read, Prabhuji? Or
You said everyone is there, so I was not sure who all, like Avni,
yeah,
Vedic.
they're little engaged in other activities.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Then I can read.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Brahmaratra upavritte Vasudevānumoditaha Aniccantyo yayurgopya swagrihan bhagavat priyaha. After an entire night of Brahma had passed, Lord Krishna advised the gopis to return to their homes, although they did not wish to do so. The Lord's beloved consorts complied with his demand. Sorry, I had a lot of screen time today and it's getting hard to read.
Complied, Prabhuji, complied. They complied with his command.
I'll read again. After an entire night of Brahma had passed, Lord Krishna advised the gopis to return to their homes, although they did not wish to do so. The Lord's beloved consorts complied with his command. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 8.17, Lord Krishna explains, by human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together is the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. Thus, 1,000 ages entered within a single 12-hour night when Lord Krishna performed his Rasa dance. 1,000 ages entered in a 12-hour period. This is inconceivable for ordinary human like myself. Srila Vishnu Chakravarti compares this inconceivable impression of time to the fact that many universes fit neatly within the 40-mile range of earthly Vrindavan. Or one may consider that Mother Yashoda could not encircle the small abdomen of child Krishna with numerous ropes, and that at another time he manifested many universes within his mouth. The transcendence of spiritual reality above and beyond mundane physics is concisely explained in Rupa Goswami's Laghu Bhagavatam Evam Prabho Priyanam Cha Dhamnascha Samayasya Cha Avichintya Prabhavatvad Atra Kinchin Durghatam. Nothing is impossible for the Lord. His dear devotees, his transcendental abode, or the time of his pastimes. For all of these entities are inconceivably powerful. Such a beautiful verse. Nothing is impossible for the Lord, his devotees, his abode, or his pastimes. Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur further explained that the word Vasudeva Anumoditaha indicates that Lord Krishna advised the gopis. To assure the success of these pastimes, you and I should keep them secret. The Lord, the word Vasudeva, a name of Krishna, also indicates Lord Krishna's plenary expansion, who acts as the presiding deity of consciousness. When the word Vasudeva is understood in this context, the word Vasudeva Anumoditaha indicates that the presiding deity of consciousness, Vasudeva, manifested embarrassment and fear of their elders within the gopis' hearts, and therefore it was only with great reluctance that the young girls returned home. Hare Krishna. Such a beautiful verse. How an entire night of Brahma. What is the duration of night of Brahma? Mataji, you know this calculation, Brahma's age?
Some kalpas, isn't it, Prabhuji?
12, no, 6.
Huh? No, 1,000 कुछ है. It's they mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhuji. I don't recall it. Though.
Yeah, it's mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. It's quite important. Therefore, we'll try to redo that or restudy it. Hare Krishna. I don't know where this. The website is having some issues today. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sorry about the inconvenience. This Veda-based website is having some issues. So basically, in the 12 hours, Krishna fit what duration? Entire night of Brahma, which is basically called one kalpa. So let's understand this. One Kali Yuga is equivalent to about 432,000 years. One Dwapar is twice of Kali Yuga, KY. Treta is thrice, Satyuga is 4 times of Kali Yuga. When you add these up, the sum of the 4 yugas is equivalent to 10 times the Kali Yuga, which is equivalent to 10 times of this, which becomes 432 times 10, which is 4.3 million years. Let me know if anything is getting too complex. I can pause.
No, it's fine, Prabhuji. Yeah.
So this is called Chatur Yuga, which is the sum of 4 yugas, which is 10 times the Kali Yuga, which is 4.3 million years. Now, one Manvantar is called 71 Chatur Yugas, so 71 times of this, 306 million. And in one Kalpa, which is equivalent to 1 day of Brahma, also 1 night of Brahma, there are 14 Manvantars. So 14 times 71 Chatur Yugas. So it and plus 6 transition yugas. So long story short, 1000 Chatur Yugas. 1000 Chatur Yugas basically means 1000 times this, right? 4.3 million, which becomes 4.3 billion years. So Krishna, what is this verse telling?
That the pastime occurred for the entire
Night,
night of Brahma.
which is 4.3 billion years. Now we cannot think of this, we cannot imagine this, right? How can 4.3 billion years you can fit in 12 hours? It's inconceivable for us. But for the Lord, nothing is inconceivable. So Krishna does many human-like pastimes. Can you give some examples which ordinary humans can also do? Like stealing butter,
Makhan Chor, yes, Prabhuji.
right? Like playing with friends,
Yeah.
ball, bat, ball, all those cricket, running, playing hide and seek,
Yeah.
playing with fruits, throwing fruits at each other, throwing flowers at each other, joking, laughing, eating, right? It's all human-like. Running the cows, right? Grazing the cows, getting angry, crying when the mother is scolding. These are all human-like. Ordinary babies also cry when their mother scolds them. But can we name some non-human-like or divine or extraordinary?
Yeah, so Ras Leela, lifting up the Govardhan,
Govardhan.
Kalia, Daman.
Yes, Kaliyadaman, Putana, killing all the demons, basically
Yeah.
no ordinary child can do.
Yeah, then showing the universes in his mouth.
Showing the universe in his mouth. So that's what Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is saying, that for the Supreme Lord, nothing is impossible. What to speak of Supreme Lord? Nothing is impossible for even his dear devotees, like Prabhupada. Like sharing Krishna consciousness in the West was certainly, now we may feel, oh, Prabhupada did that, but at that time, it was an inconceivable task, or even to comprehend how one person can create a spiritual revolution across the globe. Nothing is impossible, as Prabhupada said, nothing is impossible for his devotee. So, in short, they're all inconceivably powerful. Shaktya-vesha. Krishna manifests. Krishna gives them special energy. So nothing is inconceivable. As Prabhupada has said, impossible is a word in the Fool's Dictionary. So The Lord can do anything. The devotees can do anything. The abode of the Lord can do anything. His pastimes, nothing is inconceivable. If one has faith, the famous story of the cobbler and the Brahmana, we all have heard that. The cobbler had faith that my Lord, he can do anything. He can pass elephant through the eye of a needle. He had the firm faith. You know that story, right, Pankaj?
Yes, Prabhuji, I've heard of it, but please tell us like what how
You
it
tell
is understood.
how it's connected to this theme.
No. How the story per se kind of unfolds. Like, how does the cobbler have that faith? Because there is somebody else also with him, right? Like,
Hmm.
I don't remember the details, but he has that firm faith, but something happens.
Hmm. So basically, the idea is Narad Muni was traveling, and then he, goes to this Brahmana, and the Brahmana welcomes Narad Muni and says, "Oh, great Narad Muni, you have come, wonderful, very nice." And he knew a lot of scriptures, a lot of verses, etc. And he was a little bit proud. Oh, I'm so scholarly. I'm so great. Narad Muni, you're going to Vaikuntha Loka. You must be seeing Lord Vishnu. Can you ask him? By the way, I'm sure that I'm coming to him in this lifetime or after the end of this life. I'm going back home, back to Godhead. But still, you can ask. Okay. Hmm. And then he goes to this cobbler who was doing his job of, sewing repairing some shoes or fixing some shoes and footwear. He was very humble and he was engaging significant time in his duties, but at the same time, he was always chanting the names of Krishna, Rama, and he was humble. He asked Narad Muni, you have come, I don't have proper way to even welcome you. I'm a poor cobbler. What can I give you? But please have a seat, take some water, whatever he could do. And he said, well, you know, I don't have any hope of going back home, back to Godhead. But can you ask Krishna, can you ask Lord Vishnu, is there ever going to be a chance that he'll be merciful, causelessly merciful to me, and I have some hope, or someday, maybe after a million lifetimes? He was very humble. He knew scriptures, but he was very humble because he was doing this menial job for sustaining his family. Anyways, Narad Muni goes back home, and Lord Vishnu knew everything. And then Narad Muni asked, what about that Brahmana? And he said, well, that Brahmana, he may have to take birth maybe 10,000 lifetimes more before he comes back home. 10,000 lifetimes? Well, he's thinking he'll be ready in next life. Okay, I don't get it. But what about the cobbler? Well, he's coming after this life. Narad Muni asked, hey, are you sure? Because it seems maybe you are like wrong number like here, right? Maybe the other person should be after this life and the cobbler maybe is as Lord Vishnu says, no, no. And what if they don't believe me? And he says, so they may ask, what was, yeah, so how do I understand this? So Narad Muni was a little confused. So Lord Vishnu told, okay, they'll ask you, what was Lord Vishnu doing when you went to see him? Then you say he was passing elephant through the eye of a needle. A big elephant. How can a big thing go through the eye of a needle? He said, you tell them, you give them this response. Lord Vishnu uh, was trying to pass elephant through the eye of a needle. And then he comes back to the earthly planet, meets the Brahmana. Brahmana welcomes him and say, "Oh, Narad Muni, you have come. Do you go and ask about me, who is very certain to go back home in the next life? Did you still get a chance to ask?" He said, "Yes, I did." Lord Vishnu replied, "It will take maybe 100,000 lifetimes more." Ha 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 ha. And it's like, what a joke. That's impossible. That's not true. Are you sure you went to him? Are you sure you went to Vaikuntha? Or are you just making up? Okay, I don't think you went, but even if you went, can you tell me what was it doing? What was Lord Vishnu doing there? Narad Muni said, Lord Vishnu, he was trying to pass elephant from the eye of a needle. And he started laughing again. Ha 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 ha. See, this is so, how can this be possible? This proves that you didn't go. How can the tiny eye of a needle, a thread, sometimes a thread doesn't go there easily. To pass the thread is so hard, what to speak of big elephant? It's impossible. That shows you didn't go. Anyways, Narad Muni moved on and he went to the cobbler. The cobbler welcomed him, gave him water, gave him kind words to properly receive him, and then finally asked, Narad Muni, I know I'm this unqualified person, I have no bhakti, no good qualities, but is there still some hope for me? By the causeless mercy of the Lord. And Narad Muni said, don't worry, my child, Lord Vishnu, you're going to back to God after this lifetime. And then he was so happy, excited, like Romanchakampa, Shrutaranga Bhajo, so jumping in joy. Wow, look at my Lord, so merciful. And then he was curious to know more about the Lord. What was my Lord doing when you went? He said he was passing the elephant from the eye of a needle. And then he started jumping in great joy. Wow, wow, amazing. Hari Bol. My Lord is so inconceivable. So nothing is impossible for him. Radhamuni said, hey, are you crazy? How can the elephant go through the eye of a needle? He said, well, if he can fit the entire, such a big, big banyan tree in the tiny seed, right? There are trees which are hundreds of feet high, 1,000 feet high, so big, so huge, in a tiny seed. How can he not pass the elephant? If he can show the entire entire universe in his mouth, can he not pass the small elephant from the eye of a needle? What is impossible for him? Nothing is impossible. And then the Narad Muni understood that how deep faith, conviction he has in the Supreme Lord. And the Brahmana, although he had a lot of scholarly wisdom, but missing the realization. So that's how this story is quite befitting here. Any thoughts, comments? Okay, we'll read the last verse of this chapter. Iti Mataji, would you like to read? Are you in position? Anyone else? Okay, yes.
Can you give me, if anybody can read this one, maybe I can read the next one. If that's okay.
This is the last verse
Oh,
of
okay.
this.
Okay.
Need a few moments and you can read the purport.
Yeah, I need, because I cannot see on my phone and my internet is little unstable.
Okay.
So, okay.
That's Mataji, you can read, and maybe if she's ready by purport, Priti Mataji can read that.
Okay, sure, Prabhuji. विक्रीडितं व्रजभूतभीरिदं च विष्णो श्रद्धा विनीतो अनुशृणुयद् अथ वर्णयेद् यः भक्तिं परां भगवती प्रतिलभ्य कामं हृदरोगमश्व अपहिनोति अचिर्णधीरः.
I can read now, Prabhu, if you want.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Okay, yes, thank you, Mataji. Translation. Anyone who faithfully hears or describes the Lord's playful affairs with the young gopis of Vrindavan will attain the Lord's pure devotional service. Thus, he will quickly become sober and conquer lust, the disease of heart. Purport by disciples of Srila Prabhupada. The extraordinary power of Lord Krishna's conjugal pastime is clearly revealed here. Qualitatively, the Lord's spiritual, loving pastime are the diametric opposite of material, lusty affairs. So much so that simply by hearing about the Lord's pastimes, a devotee conquers sex desire. By reading pornographic literature or hearing about material romance, we certainly do not conquer sex desire, but rather increase our lust. But hearing or reading about the Lord's conjugal affairs has exactly the opposite effect because they are of the opposite nature, being purely spiritual. Therefore, it is by causeless mercy of Lord Krishna that he exhibit his Ras Leela within this world. If we become attached to this narration, we will experience the bliss of spiritual love and thus reject the perverted reflection of that love, which is called lust. As nicely put by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 2.5, Param Drishtva Nivartate. Once having directly experienced the Supreme, one will not return to material pleasure. Thus end the purports of humble servant of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to the 10th canto, 33rd chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam entitled The Rasa Dance. So yeah, so in this verse is talking about Hridrog. And the verse is saying that. So Hridrogam asva apnotya chirena dhira. So it's saying that those who hear this is secret and the faithfully hears the Lord's pastime with the young gopis of Vrindavan. They are having the lusty desire, and they will awaken a pure devotional service to the Lord. Because in this world, this is say that this world is a perverted form, perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So in the spiritual world, there is a love. And in the material world, this is the same is transformed into lust. So lust is like, it's not just about the sexual desire, it's anything, like any desire is considered under this. So this is, I think this verse is also, if I'm not wrong, Prabhu, you can correct me. This was quoted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, right? Being a sannyasi, and he was saying that those who hear about that, the Lord's rasa dance and these affairs with the young gopis, they will attain the pure devotional service. And is it Prabhuji?
Yes, there's certainly it's shared. I'm not sure about this exact verse, but the context,
Yeah,
yes. The principle
yeah,
is the same.
yeah, yeah. So this is a higher form, right? It's a higher taste. And when we lust is like in the material world, we have a lower taste. In the spiritual world, we have like everything is in the higher form. And that verse is 2.5 here is quoted that this verse is saying that Vishya vinivartante niraharasya dehina raso varjam rasopiyasya param drishta nivartate, saying that those who have experienced the higher test I mean, we say that like, if someone have a like, gulab jamun, we say that there's those can relish that taste. Nobody is much inclined towards any other sweet, like maybe a good or something like that. Just giving an example. So it's like that, in this world, like, we have a very lower form of happiness and sense enjoyment. But once to the devotional service and hearing about Krishna, talking about Krishna. So Krishna is all sweet. We say that Adharam Madhuram, he is all sweet. Everything about Krishna is sweet. Vadanam, Vachanam, Madhu, everything is sweet. So, it says that, like, when we taste something very sweeter, then you forget the sensual enjoyment or and the pleasure from this world. And that is a higher, and that the consciousness is completely fixed consciousness. And yeah, I mean, and this is all mercy of Lord Krishna that who exhibit this Rasa Leela within this material world just to attract the common people, to attract the conditioned souls to so they can hear, because this is Nitya Leela, is going it's Nitya Leela, is eternal. So it's going in the spiritual world, but because Krishna is so merciful that he exhibit these all the leela, and through the scriptures, through the acharya, we have this opportunity to hear and to immerse oneself in the pastime of Krishna. And through the pastime, through the hearing, it goes to the heart. By the contemplation, we get purified, and once we get purified, then we try to fix ourselves in Krishna consciousness. Yes, Prabhuji, back to you.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for so thoughtfully sharing so many points. This is the last verse of the Rasa Leela, not only this chapter, but the 5 chapters which talk about the Rasa Leela, which is 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. And this is the 39th verse of chapter 33, which marks the completion. And anytime, this is a consistent theme that at the end, sometimes at the beginning also, but mostly towards the end, the speaker, in this case Shukdev Goswami, is giving the Phala Shruti. Phala means fruit, Shruti means Shravan. Usko sunne ka kya fayda? Right? Why should we hear something? Why should we do something? Why should we, anything we do is for a reason. So why anyone should hear about this pastime or any pastime of the Lord? The answer is given here. Let's try to understand. Vikriditam raja vadhu bhi idam cha Vishnu. Shraddha anvitaha, Shraddha ke साथ, with faith. Anu shrunuyat. One should hear with faith. This comes multiple places in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavatam. One should hear with faith. One should have some faith. If one is doubting, for a doubting mind, there is no happiness in this world or the next. Varnayet, which have been described by the great, Shukdev Goswami. Bhaktim param bhagavati. So what all things would happen? He will attain bhaktim param bhagavati. He will attain pure devotional service. Unto whom? Unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prati labhya. Usko prapt hoga. That person will get. So what are all the things which will happen? Bhaktim param bhagavati. So one will get the Lord's pure devotional service. Number 1. Who will get? Anyone who hears or describes. Shrun. So you see this word anu, shrunuyat, varnayet. So either you read, speak, hear, describe, share, anything. So if you are hearing Krishna Katha or sharing Krishna Katha, both people get same benefit. If done, how? What's the mood? Shraddha anvita, with faith. So what all things will happen? One will get pure devotional service. What about the impurities? Kamam, hrit rogam, asu, quickly. What will happen? Apa hinoti, drives away. So he'll become dhira, he'll quickly become sober, and hrit rogam. What is the biggest disease? The disease of the heart, lust. which is the biggest disease of the heart. He'll conquer. The biggest disease of the heart is not clogged or blocked arteries. I mean, that's a problem for sure. But the bigger disease is to keep on moving in this cycle of birth and death till there is lust. And what is lust? Atmendra priti vancha tare bole kam, Krishna priti ichha dhare premana. Till the time we are serving our own senses, forgetting Krishna, that's lust. And we're serving Krishna, Krishna's senses, that becomes prema or love. So what are the three things mentioned here? Bhaktim param bhagavati prati labhya. One will attain devotional service. Kamam hrit rogam asu apanoti. One will drive away lust, the disease, hridroga. And number three, achirena dhira. One will become sober. So if we want to become sober, if we want to develop love for Krishna through devotional service, and if we want to conquer the disease of heart, we need to do something. What do we need to do? As per this verse,
Faithfully hear.
faithfully hear and or varnayet,
Or describe. The
describe, varnan karna, to describe, faithfully, shraddha, anvitoho. Okay. And what are the three things which will happen? We just discussed those in the green, you remember?
Yes, so you said that Bhagavati Bhakti Param. So first thing, the pure devotional service
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
become sober
Dhira, very nice.
and what else?
Hridrog,
Hridrogam, the lust will quickly drives away.
asu,
Quickly.
asu means quickly. Apa, hinoti, drives away. Now what we need to do? Describe and hear what? Vikriditam Rajavadhu, Krishna's pastimes with the gopis. Or in this case, since we're talking about Krishna's pastime with gopis, for that matter, any pastime of Krishna, whether it's Damodar Leela, Kalya Leela, Putana. But this chapter is about, or this whole context is about Krishna's pastime with the Vrajavadhu. So Krishna's Vikriditam. So you see this word krida, sporting pastimes, playful pastimes. With whom? Vrajavadhu, the gopis, the young women of Vrindavan. This idam means that this whole Shukdev Goswami has been describing, referring to Rasa Leela pastime. So the effect of Rasa Leela is not increase in lust, but the lust will reduce. Now, Prabhupada's disciples are mentioning a lot of people are engaged in reading pornographic literature, hearing about material romance through movies and adulterous movies, videos, YouTube. So many things are there these days. What happens? It increases our lust because it's mundane. It's tamoguna. It's unhealthy for the mind, for the body, for the heart. It will not make us sober. It will not give us bhakti. It will increase our lust. Opposite effect will happen, diametrically opposite, right? So on one end, there is pure love of Krishna, and the other end is lust. The famous verse from the Gita. That the Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati sanyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato muni. What is night for common being is the time of awakening of the self-realized. And what is the time to sleep for the saintly is time to, awaken. So you see all these nightclubs, discos, etc., like night, 11, 12, midnight, 1, 2. They're very active at that time. Casinos, bars. what happens? Lust there. And the sadhu gets up. So diametrically opposite is mentioned here. So in short, we have to engage in the higher rasa, param dishtva nivarti. When one is happy with the higher rasa, one will not be inclined to go in the wrong direction. Unfortunately, many people are disturbed by these things. And if we do not read Shastra, many devotees also are disturbed by these, and it's a challenge. So what we need to do? We need to feed our good dog. We need to feed our intelligence. Okay, the mind wants to see something. The eyes want to see something. Okay, we will see Krishna movies or we'll read Bhagavatam. We'll hear about Krishna. The mouth wants to speak. Okay, Vikrinit Varnayam. We speak about Krishna. And if we are not engaged, then the mind will take us in the wrong direction. Especially these days, everything is in the hands. Everyone has phone in their hands and easy access to. Sometimes you are unintentionally, like Ajamil was not going there to see the sight of that woman embracing the prostitute embracing that guy. Unintentionally, it happened. And I was just reading this. I was glancing at this earlier today. How lust acts in 10 different ways. You want to hear how the lust acts in 10 different ways? I'll just quickly read this. You ready to hear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Attraction towards opposite sex is so strong in this world that even the most learned people get victimized by it. That's the unfortunate truth. And we see even whether it's in our society or even in other religious societies, very sometimes, like who was that? Vishwamitra was also enchanted by Menaka. So it's the Jamil was enchanted. So many Kalya Krishna Das was enchanted by the Bhattataris. So it's not easy. One who is afflicted by attraction to opposite sex due to the influence of Cupid undergoes 10 stages. The 10 stages of lust. Number one, Chakshu Raga. Chakshu means eyes, attraction through eyes. The first thing which happens, the eyes see something. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa, like a Jamil saw that sight. And suddenly he started what? Chit Sangha. Chit means consciousness. Apni consciousness mein he attached in the mind. Number three, Sankalpa. I want it. Like Ravana. No, I want Sita. Determination. Number four, loss of sleep. Nidra Cheda. Nidra Cheda. Loss of अपनी नींद भूल जाती. Songs over it. Oh, जब से याद तुझको देखा सोना भूल के something like nonsense songs are there. It's Nidra Cheda. नींद चली गई. Becoming emaciated. Tanuta, right? So emaciated. खाना अब छोड़ दिया, सोना छोड़ दिया, right? Number 6, Vishaya Nivritti, disinterested in other things. So, Bilva Mangal Thakur, before, Siddhana Mishra, before he became the great sage, his father's funeral, ignored. And he wanted to go to Chintamani. Disinterested in family. In Ajamil, we saw, disinterested in his own wife, his own good wife, his own family, and all bad things, right? Number 7, shamelessness. Tripanasha. One becomes shameless by hook or crook. Jamil had his wife ignored, right? Looting, stealing, killing, murdering, shameless. Number 8, madness, unmatta. Number 9, murcha, becomes stunned. And number 10, mrityu, death. This is how lust captures. And as Preeti Mataji nicely mentioned, it's not just man-woman lust. It could be money, right? It could be position, right? It could be power. It could be, something else. So lust can act in different ways about different things, but these are the 10 stages. If one could manage to control oneself at the very first stage, what's the first stage? Anyone recalls?
Chakshu.
Chakshu, seeing. Then one need not undergo the pain of going through the later stages. Ajamil, who just faced the first stage, could not stop there, but went to the next stage, and then this vicious cycle starts, and it becomes harder, harder, and harder to get out. So, better we watch what we see, otherwise, it becomes hard. And if accidentally we end up seeing something which is not appropriate, we don't need to go to the next stage, which is chitta. Oh, Jamil started to, oh, how I wish I got married to this guy, lady, and this will happen, that will happen. So it gets harder to pull out. So what's the best remedy? Paramdrishtva. We cannot stop, we cannot like close our eyes, but we can engage our eyes in the right content. There are tons of YouTube videos about such nice devotees giving class from the ISKCON family. There are tons of dramas, spiritual dramas we can see. We have so many books behind in the background. They should not just remain in the shelf, but we should attempt to at least read a little bit. We can use our eyes. Bhakti is so dynamic. You can use all our limbs, all our senses. And then the senses will be happy, real happiness. This basically completes the 5 chapters of Rasa Panchadhyaya, the Rasa Lila. There are a lot of lessons, lot to learn. And if I made any mistakes in the pronunciation, in the explanation, and if I spoke anything beyond my realization, which I did certainly, please excuse for my shortcomings, and you're all sargrahis. We'll take the essence and ignore the mistakes. Thank you so much for your time, your patience, your attention. We'll next time begin the next chapter, which is a different topic, chapter 34. Until then, you have a
Hare
nice...
Krishna Prabhuji. Just one thing I'd like to say,
Yes,
that
yes,
when you
yes.
were saying that reminds me the words from Yamunacharya, that he
Mhm.
was saying that, right? Because he got such a a higher taste in bhakti, that he was thinking that whenever I think about the sex pleasure, I spit at that thought. Uh, he was saying that. I don't remember the whole verse, but yeah, there's a verse that he was there. So yeah, of course, you have mentioned that there's a lust series in whole and in Bhagavad Gita, right? It's even Krishna, when Arjuna asked that athakin prayuktoyam, right? That verse is there. And he was saying that, okay, this is athakin prayuktoyam papam charati purusha anichena pivashne baladyo niyojita. So Krishna says that, right? Kam esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhav, mahashano mahapapma vidhi enami verinam. So this is the lust only, right? And he gave all the reasons that the sitting place of this lust is the senses, mind, and intelligence. So as you're giving the example of Ajamil, I think that the senses is there's a chariot analogy, right? The senses are the horses and the reins are the mind, and the person who is sitting and controlling the rein is the intelligence, and the was a passenger sitting is a soul. So yeah, I mean, when the intelligence, there's a two intelligence, material intelligence and spiritual intelligence. One cannot control the mind and senses going here and there, if one has not strong spiritual strength. So, I mean, this is our, everybody has their own war, right? We have to we have to choose and pick up our war, because we everybody has to fight with Maya. Then we can conquer Krishna. So yeah, I mean, one has to first think that one has to control the mind. Mind is the source of all the distractions and everything. So I mean, I'm just saying that one has to build up more and more the spiritual strength by hearing, by engaging in devotional service, by serving, by chanting the holy name of the Lord. And that's how one can make oneself, at least, you have to know that who is your opposition. Your opposition is really strong. It's Maya. Maya won't let us go. So it's very strong. You have to be really guard yourself. Like, yeah, you have to guard also, and then you have to fight. So yeah, that's the thing. Thank you, Prabhuji. And if you can share this one, Prabhuji, that reasons of the lesson, that would be really great.
The
Thank
10
you.
different aspects,
Yes, yes,
the 10
Prabhuji.
stages. Sure. Very nice, Mataji. Yes, easier said than done, as you said. It's not easy. Therefore, we need good intelligence, good reading, good association, good, guidance of Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Like, we need protection from all sides. Because the sites like Ajamil, like witness was like a one-off thing in the forest. But these days, like it's crazy, right?
Even Bharat Maharaj, right? He was on the Bhava stage and he got attached to the deer. So he has only one deer, but we have a lot of deers in our life. And we have to fight with all this. And we are very, very insignificant. I'm talking about myself. I am very insignificant and I am very, very like, nothing kind of that. I have to be really, really strong if I have to fight with them. So yeah, I mean, a lot of deers is there. So anyone can take me away.
Don't worry, you have Krishna on your side. You have Krishna on your side. So this is the devotees. This is the difference. We cannot fight. We cannot win over this by myself. Krishna, you help me. Krishna, you protect me. Krishna, you protect my mind. You protect my senses. You give me the right path to choose. Jagannatha Swami Nayan Pathagami Bhavatu me. May you become the object of my vision. You help me. You take the chariot of my life. If I do myself, I'll mess it up. That's the hope. That's the faith. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna iti Vishwasa iti samsmritya pranam sansariyami ham. Remembering this, I'm holding my life, that Krishna will protect me. Krishna will guide me. And Krishna's guidance, Krishna's protection is in reciprocation to our attempts. So when we run alone, it's a race. But when you add G of Govinda or Gopinath or Giridhari before the race, that means when Krishna is with you, it becomes grace. Hare Krishna. Okay, so it's a late. We'll pause here. Grantaraj Bhagavatam Puran ki jai, Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samvita Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.